Hey guys, how's it going? It's been a while since I've done an interview, and it's been an even bigger while since I've had this particular guest on. Everyone, and welcome aboard, Crystal.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yep, well, it's going good and going good for me. So let's just dive right in because last time you were on, you were talking about the previous campaign for your book.
Yeah.
Yep. Good night.
Oh,
Yep. The good night. First one, Nightmare Realm. And
so
yep,
cool.
I backed the first issue, and I do plan on backing this one once I get my next paycheck in.
As you do, as you do.
As you
Awesome.
do, as you do. Yeah. So tell people a bit about yourself, of course, and before you go into the campaign, yeah, tell people what gave you the idea of this campaign, what you've done with beforehand, things like that.
Yeah. So I am a writer and script doctor. I do a good chunk of ghostwriting for a lot of
Ooh.
different people, for projects and stuff like that. I have done writers' rooms and a lot of different like stuff for TV shows,
Ah,
some movies as well.
yeah.
And I got into comics at a young age through my dad. He has the greatest comic book collection. He has all sorts of little gems in there.
Oh, I bet.
And yeah, and so I kind of leaned more towards Marvel,
Ah,
Image stuff, indies, stuff like that. And he's
DC
big.
guy here.
Yep, that was him, big DC fan for sure. But
Oh, so you got into Marvel to rebel, I take it. I'm
um,
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
no worries. Like DC has good villains, but I really like the heroes on Marvel, like how
Fair enough.
complex they are. Yeah,
That's fair.
but I so this story actually started when I was in fourth grade.
Ooh.
Another kid gave me a VHS tape, and it was Akira. And I watched
Oh.
it for yeah, and I watched it for the first time. And if you've seen Akira, there's this scene in there where there's like a hospital in Tetsuo's like in this government type facility. And you
Mm-hmm.
see these three objects. One's like a little teddy bear, a stuffed rabbit, and a toy car. And that got me thinking because those little objects ended up being those little psychic kids that the
Mm-hmm.
government had. So I was like, it'd be interesting because I've also been a fan of Arthurian lore.
Oh,
So
same
stuff
here.
with King
Same here.
Arthur, yep. And that hasn't really changed. I just love that stuff. And
Mhm.
so I was thinking, what if there was a night of King Arthur's round table that got turned into a teddy bear? And it you have like the cuteness of the teddy bear, but
Hmm.
just like in Akira, you have the violence. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the hardcore nature of that.
Yep.
And so I had a friend of mine in fourth grade that drew these panels,
Hmm.
and it was kind of more like a storyboard, but
Hmm.
she put them together, and it's shocking how close those original fourth grade like storyboards turned out in comparison to the final product that
Right.
actually came out. It's super close. And if you want
I
to
bet.
see more of kind
Oh,
of like how the good night came together, I have a documentary on my YouTube channel which is called In the Realm of Dreams: The Making of the Good Night, and
hmm.
episode 1 is out now. But we go into a lot of stuff there as well if you want to dive in.
Yeah, just give me one moment, actually, because I'm actually going to show off the some scans from the first good night. So give me one moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Just of all because Adobe's giving me problems.
I feel you.
Yep. So let's see if that works. Okay. Hold on. There we go.
Awesome.
Yep. Let me just put this on full screen. That way it'll be much better to showcase it. Full screen mode. There we go. So yeah, I mean, yeah, just right there. I always remember this image right there, right off the bat, was Belladonna showing up, and I just forgot what the bear's name is. Which one? That's
Sir Alexander.
Sir
Yeah.
Alexander, right? Just seeing him there and just seeing this roar, but then he goes into this cute teddy bear.
It's a great entrance for sure.
It is a great entrance.
And
But
if you and if you notice on the first page there, if you look under the bed, you'll see that there's actually already a creature that's already like, yeah, so those ones that pop out later, it's already there.
I can't zoom in.
So
yeah, I can't zoom in. I can barely see that right there, right?
We've had people that have read it and they'll message me and they're like, I totally jumped and got spooked by the creature under the bed. Because they didn't see it the first time they read it, and then they went back to reread. And they're like,
that's what she says. You're too late. Like, yeah, you're already too late.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
But yeah, again, I just love how he goes from this showing it. He's like, to, ooh.
I know, like Pooh Bear.
Yeah, just like Pooh Bear. Yeah, he goes from this teddy bear that's a bit of a with a hint of the real bearness, but then, he's still a teddy bear. Now, so for people who don't know, who is Belladonna?
So Queen Belladonna is the ruler of Zarthus, and Zarthus is a living planet that basically thrives off of the royal bloodline. And she has an axe to grind with Sir Alexander's new master, the young boy Jack, because his father, was his father Eric, isn't actually a human or even from Earth. He was actually from Queen Belladonna's planet. And he was supposed to do a type of like a ceremony that goes on there. And the ceremony kind of gives the planet additional years on its sort of
I got it.
And so he basically left Queen Belladonna for a chick on Earth, and so she has an axe to grind, and not only that, they need royal blood to keep the planet alive. So her kidnapping his son, two birds, one stone type scenario.
Right. So him just going with that. Now that's supposed to be a sword. That's a knife, right? That's supposed to be a sword.
It's a sword.
That's what I saw, but it's at his size.
I know,
it looks like a
knife. I know.
Again, I just love the artwork. The artwork. This is one of those books where I definitely got for the artwork.
It does.
And, just all this stuff. Now, how much of the other Arthurian lore is in this series?
So in this series, for issue 2, we really dive into the Arthurian lore. Our first opening pages basically show Sir Alexander getting the Holy Grail. And our take on the Holy Grail is that it was at basically Christ's Last Supper, Jesus and all the other disciples. Jesus and other disciples kind of touched it or came into contact with it, and it has just like when the lady came up to Jesus and touched his cloak, his clothing, she became well. It's that type of thing, and they're trying to basically fix King Arthur's ailing health. So him touching the Holy Grail will basically instantly get him back in good health. So at this point, with Sir Alexander getting pushed forward in time, we kind of show that flashback right at the beginning of issue 2. King Arthur is like in a deep magic sleep, and just in order to keep him alive. And so you'll see King Arthur for sure, Merlin, and some of the other knights that are still alive at that point
Mhm.
to kind of protect him. And it'll start really intertwining in the story, issue 2 and 3 for sure.
Right. But yeah, I mean, as I've been going through the artwork and the pages here, again, the artwork is just so damn good. I mean, how do you say
Thank
the
you.
artist's name? Francisco Narde?
Yep, Francisco Narde. And
Yep.
he is absolutely amazing.
Yep.
He has a mixed media approach. So he'll start off on canvas,
Hmm.
he'll use charcoals,
Yep.
watercolors sometimes, acrylics, basically anything that you can find. He'll put it on the, canvas for texture and, all that good stuff. And then we'll bring it over to, something like Photoshop, and
Yep.
we'll kind of tweak it from there, clean it up, and
Right.
get it ready for the page.
Yep. And again, just so much of it. Now, how many issues do you have in mind for this whole series?
So in total, we have 12 issues plotted out,
Hmm.
but we might end up condensing. It just kind of depends, but for sure 12.
Yep.
And it's been fully scripted, so we already know how it's going to end. So you don't
Hmm.
have to worry about us kind of guessing
Right.
as we go along.
You don't. You're so
We have
now.
a full blueprint, guys.
Okay, good. So you're not like one of those who's like, oh, I'm just going to keep adding more and more on this campaign, and just so I can keep and I'm not
Oh
naming one name.
no.
I'm naming multiple campaigns that have been doing that. I can think of at least 2, maybe 3 that have done that, where they just keep adding pages. Like,
Mhm.
okay, can you
Oh
just
no.
release the damn thing? Again, I'm not
Oh
going to name
no.
names. I'm not going to name names. That's why I said it's not just one; it's
Yeah,
multiple.
exactly.
Yep. Oh boy, you have Belladonna with Jack, and of course she's playing up to him being a young boy. Of course, man, still,
Yep.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah, just yeah.
And
We can see
what's
her look so
great,
normal, and
I
yeah, then she goes,
know, dude,
yeah, to that like
the evil face.
almost
And
Joker
what's
like.
It is, dude. And what's so great about Queen Belladonna is
Mm-hmm.
that, like, a little known fact, kind of like about me that's interesting, is I was originally going to go to college for fashion design.
Ah,
And I ended up pivoting from that and going
mm-hmm.
into entertainment.
Right.
So I end up designing a lot of the designs for Queen Belladonna
Mm-hmm.
specifically because she has basically like a new outfit every single issue. We've got something,
Mm-hmm.
something cool for her. So
Yep.
I have fun putting all the designs together for her. She's such a
Mm-hmm.
great character to
Yep.
design for.
Yeah. So, but yeah, again, I'm just looking throughout all this, and again, it's just. And the fact that you look at this, guys, this is a oversized level of artwork, not your normal standard comic issue.
Yeah, so if you've seen or gotten your hands on Heavy Metal Mag, that
Yeah,
is
like
the
that.
exact same size. Yeah. And it's great for the art too, because then you can really go back and reread and you'll see all of those details.
Yep, yep. Let me just show off. I mean, yeah, here it is compared to, say, just pick a random comic issue like this. It's much bigger. I know, weird. It's the closest issue I had at hand.
No worries.
Yeah, but again, just and yeah, you got so many pages in all of this. This is well worth it just by for each issue alone.
Yep. And if you missed out on the first issue on the campaign, there is like a catch up tier, which is
Hmm.
the physical book for issue
Yep.
1 and 2.
Up and you had some other books as well. What was
Yeah.
this one?
Lunar Phases. So that's
Lunar
our
Phases.
werewolf book.
Yep.
So with the Good Night will kind of, you'll see characters in our other books that pop up. We haven't released those yet because we have to kind of wait for issue 2 to come out for the rest of these
Right.
books to make sense. So we
Yep.
have books that are completely finished and ready to go. We're just kind of
Mhm.
waiting for people to read the second issue, get their hands on the second issue, and then we'll
Yep.
start just bringing those books straight to print. And
Yep.
Lunar Phases, yeah, if you like werewolf comics, this is kind of more like a silent film era vibe
Mhm.
we're going with this book.
Yep.
And
If my friend
super
Bianca
creepy.
gets it here, she'll love this. She loves werewolves.
Yes, it's so creepy. And you're going to see
Yep.
like some nasty stuff. And if you love werewolves, we go into a lot of pack dynamics. So there's
Mhm.
interesting things that wolves in real life will do as far as like kind of outcasting another wolf, stuff like that, or the kind of power dynamics. So you'll see a lot
Yep.
of that.
By the way, did this ever come out yet, or is that still in the works?
So that Sir Alexander figure, we have the design down. We're just kind
Mhm.
of still waiting on it.
I
Um,
understand.
but
That's
that'll
what I
be
was.
on. No worries. We've been
Mhm.
going through some different looks, and we're trying to tweak it. We want to put it out when
Oh
it's
yeah,
just right. But
yeah. Because I'm looking at this
the
one. You look more on the
website,
pudgy side.
yes. And just watch out for the website mysticalcomics.com.
Yep.
We'll put it there when it's ready and make an announcement. But you can also currently, if you want to catch up, you're not sure about the new campaign and you kind of want to see what the book's about, you can
Mhm.
also get the PDF copy
Yep.
on the website as well.
Yep. Which is what I'm showing this from anyway. Is the PDF copy.
Yep. So
Yep.
look
I
just.
love this fan art, especially that
I
one.
know. That was our fan art contest winner, Leo Kun. He's, yeah, pretty
Yep.
cool guy.
He definitely made Belladonna look kind of more creepier there.
It's the lighting, yeah.
Well, it's that the lighting and the angle. It's also the
Oh,
angle.
yeah. Like she's kind of looking down on you. That would be.
Yeah, but kind of giving you that weird kind of almost fish. It almost looks fish-like in a good, and I mean that in a good way.
Mhm. The contest winner that we had for this second issue that will get
Mhm.
featured on the page, his looks pretty creepy too with Queen Belladonna, but it's like more of a minimalist cubism type vibe. So that's
I
pretty cool.
gotcha. I gotcha. So yeah, let's talk about the campaign in this one now. So I can see you have it as a fixed goal. You're doing quite well, and you've extended it all. But hey, for making it
Yep.
this far on the first 30 days, that's not bad for like smaller campaigns like this.
Yeah. Very
So
cool.
yeah, so and so yeah, let's just look over this a bit more. Yep, 32-page magazine size. Well, we already see that. So
Yep.
and yeah, here's some of the early pages. Now it says here that these first couple pages are these first two are the only ones in color.
So there'll be 3 pages in color.
Three
Page three
pages.
just had a spoiler, so we
Right.
couldn't show,
Obviously,
can't show that
obviously.
on the campaign. But
Yep. Can't show that in the campaign
yep,
without you don't want to spoil everything for everyone, but
exactly. Anything that's an actual flashback and not
Mhm.
just a retelling is in color.
Right.
So these will be the only pages that are in
Yep.
color. Everything else is black and white. Not to worry, guys.
Yep. By the way, hey, DJ D Show and hey Raymond, they've come on board. But so yeah, and I'm seeing like you have issue 2, 25 digital bundle. So the digital bundle is issues 1 and 2. We already got 1,
Yep.
so I don't need to worry about that.
Yep. And you'll actually save a little bit if you get the
Yep.
digital issues together here on the campaign. Whereas if you get
Yep.
on the website, you'll, have a
Yep.
couple
And the comic
dollars.
bundle. Well, I already got mine with the autograph, so I don't need to
Oh,
worry about that. Yep.
awesome.
Yep. Hey, Tris. Oh yeah, that art. Raven just said that art is the bomb. It is. It is. I'm gonna go back to showing the
Thank
I'll go
you.
back to showing the PDF from the first one. But yeah, seriously, this. I mean, just it looks so gorgeous.
Wow. Thank you. My
Yep.
artist is absolutely fantastic.
Yep. So yeah, let's actually look over each. So first issue is just 25, obviously with shipping. Then we have the, like we said before, the digital bundle, the comic bundle, which is for 1 and 2, although that's limited. So you got about 36 more left to go.
Yep.
And the MVP package, which is the challenge coin plus the first in the 2 issue CGC graded. And
Yep.
you got
It
7
will
more of
come.
those.
Yep. It will come with reader copies as well. I
Oh, that's
included it.
5
Yep.
items.
I included it originally, but for some reason, once we actually launched, Indiegogo didn't
Mm-hmm.
include that. But in the frequently
Oh,
asked questions section, I do clarify for people. So don't worry,
right.
you will have a copy to read.
Interesting main cover, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's the vibe we were going for was kind of like Batman, the animated series, or like kind of like an older cartoon vibe.
True,
And
but when
this
I'm
was
looking at,
done by, I know, this was done by George Alexopoulos, and
I know about him.
he actually did this as a physical piece and
Oh,
then added the digital colors. So that's
nice.
pretty cool.
Yep, I see
He
you got.
also did if you see the map that's going to be at the beginning of every issue, he
Mm-hmm.
drew that as well. And that was physical. And I kind of drew the outline of what the world looked like. And he, made it super
Yep,
spiffy. So,
yep, and you have Eric's Weathers doing the inking. Oh yeah, that is a stuffed animal when I'm brandishing a sword. Let me go back to the PDF of the other book so we can go back over it. So now we're starting to get people coming in. So hold on. Yeah, so the whole, just to go over this again, I'll summarize it. Oh, first of all, is that what you're talking about?
yeah, that's the map. He did that physically too. And he had actual inks and everything and then cleaned it up in Photoshop. And it's fantastic. The
Yep, but yeah,
physical.
yep, but yeah, Raven. Basically, this whole bit is this stuffed bear is actually he's basically been transformed into Sir Alexander from King Arthur's knights, and he's been protecting this young boy. But yeah, the whole bit is we're seeing one of the knights of the Round Table turned into a stuffed bear, teddy bear.
And I
And
have had people ask, like, what's kind of like the age range on this? And I
mm-hmm,
like to say, because in this first issue, we have like woodland giants getting beheaded,
yep,
other creatures getting cut up or torn apart.
but they're
I'd say,
fantasy
it's
creatures.
kind of like, yeah, I'd say it's kind of like leaning into like what you would see like an action R-rated movie or an action horror film
Right.
and that type of regard. And issue 2,
Mm-hmm.
we kind of amp that up because we do
Yep.
have even more like huge scale battles. If you look at the campaign, there's
Mm-hmm.
like half dragons, like half breed dragons, like
Yep.
full purebred dragons, and there's other creatures that are kind of flying towards each other and stuff like that. And we do have one full page spread in issue 2, and it's basically like some nymphs and some other fantasy creatures, and
Mm-hmm.
that will have some uh, I guess you could say spicy content on those pages.
Oh, now I would say
I
this.
mean, it's nymphs,
Yep.
so we
Now
couldn't
once.
really get around it. And we want to
Right.
kind of be true to the portrayal. It's nothing that you wouldn't see in a art museum or something like that. It's
Right.
done tastefully.
Right. But I
But
would
yeah,
say.
I'd say don't, it is
Yep.
for adults and we do delve into adult topics, but we don't
Right.
go too far. Like it's,
Right. But
it's
quick
still
question.
R-rated
Quick
territory.
question. Was this meant to
Yeah.
be homaging the Sword and the Stone, except it's the
Yes.
sword and the dirty
Yes.
clothes?
That was the idea.
And I can so imagine that the irony was not lost on Alexander, right?
No,
Just that
I
look on his
love
face,
it.
like,
I
really?
think you're the only person that's mentioned that, but that's what we were doing with that.
The
So I
sword and the dirty
appreciate it.
laundry.
Exactly. Because we had it, because I wasn't sure. I was telling my artist that I want it to look like the Sword and the Stone. And I was like, maybe if we break the top panel a little bit with the sword,
Mhm.
that people will get it. And then the only person I've heard that from is you.
Oh, I'm just looking at it. It's like it's so obvious. It's the sword and the stone. I think it's
I
the angle.
know.
I think it's the angle. I think most people, when they think the sword and the stone, they think of it straight up, not.
Uh,
Yep, I'm all up on my Arthurian lore. I've always been a big fan of Arthurian lore. Always have. And especially just the different versions. Now, okay, I gotta ask. So, what elements of the Arthurian lore? You already mentioned about the Grail.
mhm.
But what other elements, like, do you pick and choose? Like, for example, Merlin. Is he the Antichrist or is he just a wizard? Things like
So
that.
Merlin is just a wizard that is basically King Arthur's confidant and best
Right,
friend. Um, he's kind of just like keeping the kingdom together
right,
while King Arthur is kind of charging ahead.
right. Now you get
And
why I'm asking that, because there are
yeah,
some versions.
yeah.
Like, if you read Camelot 3000, they went with the
Oh
Antichrist
yeah.
stuff because it worked in that book. I love Camelot 3000. That is one of
I do
the.
too.
I need to get
It's
someone. I
amazing.
need to go over that on my Pro Teachers News at some point.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, but
And
yeah.
so basically all of the characters that'll pop up, we play it pretty um traditional as far as there's
Mhm.
different versions, so many different versions and
Yeah,
takes, but we kind of keep the basics
right.
as far as the Arthurian lore, just they're
Mhm.
in a different scenario.
Right.
And how we kind of pull that together is that on Queen Belladonna's planet,
Yep.
there is something that we call the Pool of Worlds, and it's
Mhm.
basically like a magical tool.
Ooh.
And there's a ton of kind of like world pools that'll pop up,
Mhm.
and you can basically use that as like a way to teleport to another world or another time. Anything
Mhm.
like that is possible. So that will be a sort of like a tool to get some of those, your faves from Arthurian lore to kind of come on to Queen Belladonna's planet. And
Like Morgan Le
we'll
Fay,
have,
if she wanted
yep,
to.
yeah, we'll definitely have Morgan Le Fay, and you'll see
Of course, you
Mordred.
can't. You can. Yep,
Yep,
Mordred.
you'll see Mordred.
What about the Lady of the Lake?
Yes, you will see the
Right.
Lady of the Lake too.
Oh,
And
ooh.
and that's kind of what we're leading, because each issue is leading up to the big fight. So
Mhm.
characters are going to start appearing each issue,
Mhm.
and it's going to build up to the fight at the end. And we have these, and you'll see in book this issue, but that we have some nasty like cockroach humanoid people, and
Right.
it's total nightmare
Ugh.
fuel.
I bet.
It's like
Just by describing that,
the
cockroach
face of a
people.
human, and then like
Mhm.
the body of a cockroach. It's very like body horror-esque. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
I see it and I look at the pages that my artist sends and I'm like, ugh, so good.
Ugh. I mean, you
It's
already
so
had some
good.
of that in the first issue, only to a small degree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like
just
each
look at this.
issue keeps kicking it up. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, and this is only on issue 2. Wait till you get
I
to issue
know.
12.
And my artist, he's already finished issue 3, all the
Ooh,
interiors, and he's already working on 4. And
nice.
we're trying to speed it up so there's a lot more smoother workflow and smoother turnaround compared
Yep.
to last time, because we had a
Oh yeah.
lot of issues. Because when we got done with the in demand, it hit right at the same time that COVID did, and
Oh
we
yeah, I
had
remember.
yeah, and we had a ton of issues like our printers dropped us. And then one
Oh.
printer took our money. We had to do some action with that behind the scenes to get it back. We did get it back. And we had all these other issues that just popped up. There was a paper shortage
Yep,
that
I
we
remember
had to
that.
wait. So we had one set of books done, and they were going to start, getting in more paper to print. And there's a paper shortage all of a sudden. And then we also had, kind of just, kind of learning. This
Yep.
is my first time putting a comic book together. And with script doctoring and ghostwriting and stuff like that, I have had a couple projects where I have done some ghostwriting for the big two
Ooh.
and some for some other companies as well.
And
But
nothing
it's
nothing you can talk about
ghostwriting.
though. Nothing
I
you can
can't
talk about. Yep. Did you
exactly
any
nothing that I can say.
anything you can hint at? Can
But
you
it's
hint at it?
I can't.
Well, you said big two. You mean Marvel and DC, or
Yep.
wow? But
And
okay, wow. I am
yep. So, but
piqued my
it's
interest,
a
but
whole
I get
lot
it.
different writing for comics than it is just kind of production wise. So there was a lot of stuff that I had to learn along the way, kind of like putting the file together. And it's a little tricky with how black and white comics work as far as with the printer, because this
Right?
isn't like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where that's literally like black and white. There's not really any
Oh no.
grayscale. Here
Yeah.
we have a lot of grayscale, and we have some scenes that are, kind of brighter like this, and then we have some darker scenes. So we had to do a lot of color balancing, and that's kind of me going to the printer seeing, okay, that page came out darker than we wanted. Let's like
I
bring it
understand.
back a little.
But
But
look at it
we've,
this way: lessons were learned. You
yep,
got a good understanding for this one.
exactly. And we have a fulfillment company as well, Easy Ship.
Nice.
So they will be handling the fulfillment this time around. So one of the things I learned in this whole thing is like delegating out more work. So I've definitely done that with this.
Mm,
So it'll be a whole lot smoother going forward, and we'll have more campaigns, and
right.
we'll see more frequency.
Yeah, because I was waiting for this campaign to start off because I love the first issue so much.
Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Just I wouldn't have got this if it didn't pique my interest, and yeah, just so much of it. Be a fan of our story and lore. This is a nice, fresh handling. Right. So, when do you plan on starting Lunar Phase after this? Like, do you plan on finishing
So
this and then doing Lunar Phases, or what?
so Lunar Phases is completely done. Like
Okay. Oh.
pre-press everything. Yeah. As well as the other one, like VHS Killers, you see the
Mhm.
ad in there. That is also completely done. And VHS Killers, as well as Lunar Phases, are both done by Francisco. So
Mhm.
if you like this art here in the Good Night, you're going to see that
Mhm.
same artist returning for those other books.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty nifty.
Definitely. I mean, yeah. Just look at the again. Let's look at the artwork here. This is for Lunar Phases. Too bad Bianca's not here because I want her to see this, just to see this werewolf here.
Oh yeah. And that is going to get so nasty. We have like wolves getting torn up. Like we're not
Oh.
holding, I would say Lunar Phases is probably almost more violent than the Good Night, except
Ooh.
for in the last issue of the Good Night, as far as scripts planned, the script wise, it'll probably be pretty nasty because the last two issues of the Good Night are just like a gigantic continuous battle.
Oh, there you are, Bianca. Yeah. So Bianca,
Lunar
what?
Phase is just like we just get in it and it's nasty.
Yep. See what I mean? Look at her avatar. See what I meant?
Oh, that's It's cute.
Yeah, but yeah, what do you think about that, Bianca? I want to get her opinion.
And like
She's
his transformation here isn't even finished yet. So it just,
ooh.
yeah, it's just getting started because I cut it off before the more spoilery
Mm-hmm.
transformation kicks in. So
Yep, but yep, and there's the like I showed you before. There's the yeah, look some maze balls. Yep, I knew she loved that because again, she's the resident werewolf girl. But
yep.
again,
And in that one, how we have, because there's different ways that
mhm,
werewolves kind of come about. Some people say it's a bite. Here, there's different ways. So if
mhm.
it's a full moon and you bite somebody, they'll turn into a werewolf. If it's not a full moon, then you basically have to feed them like a human werewolf flesh mix in their Wheaties and Cheerios. And then when they eat it, like that's kind of what's happening to our boy Chase there. Because he cooked
Interesting.
him up. He cooked him up some,
I see it
some goodies. Those goodies.
now. Is it supposed to be like this, where it goes like boom, boom, like that, or is it going to be different?
So it will be like that for the first few pages or so, and then we're just going to go into the story. You're not going
Got
to
a good
see this
question
sort
here.
of, yeah.
You've heard of that movie, Late Phases?
Yes, dude, I love that movie.
Oh, so was there some intent behind the name?
Yes. It's a homage. It's a homage.
Nice. It's this a surprise you when you have people in the chat who seem to know this stuff, and you're like,
I
oh,
know,
someone else
dude.
knows.
These are my peeps.
Yep, they definitely are your
Because it's
peeps.
such an odd little film, but that's probably it's up there with my favorite werewolf films. Because American Werewolf in London is
Oh, yep,
like the top, and then Late Phases right under there.
yep. Oh,
Then
there's
we get
VHS killers.
Howling.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
and that is exorcists that are also in a heavy metal band that go
Oh,
get
Bianca
some
knows about it
demons out.
too.
That is awesome.
So you got two people at the very least to know. Like, I don't know much about that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
so
I
those will
got
come
it.
out
Yep.
like right after the second issue. So we'll
Nice.
probably give people some time, couple months once we start shipping, and then we'll just bam, you'll already have PDFs on the website. You can
Mm-hmm.
already get ready because those will be going to the printer.
Yep. But yeah, be sure to be backing this, guys, because it's doing quite well right now. Oh, it went up quite a bit since last.
Oh, thank you.
Nice. But yeah, I got it. It's in the pinned comment right up on top, guys. So go and back that. And like I say, yeah, I definitely plan on backing this when I get my next paycheck. So, hey, what are you
I
gonna do, right?
appreciate it.
Yep.
And if you can't back it right now, the biggest thing that's probably the most helpful is getting the word out. If
Yes.
there's a show that you'd like to see me on, or if
Oh,
there's
that's
people, yeah, exactly, like you.
that's why I'm trying to get
If
Bianca
there's,
and Tristan to the showcase to get you on. I've been suggesting you to them. So come on, you two, have her on. Spread the word. This book deserves to get funded.
I appreciate it. And sharing it around on Twitter, social media really helps. And I appreciate everybody that is already backed. And they're just some amazing people.
Yep, definitely. And let's head over to the website right now, actually. So yeah, there's mystical comics. Whoops. And yep. So $6. That's not bad for a PDF.
Yeah. And that first issue is 64 pages, guys.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you
Yep,
have
yep.
all of the previews and the extra stuff. So
that
it's
first
pretty
issue was definitely it was a double-sized first issue, in other words.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you always
There's no
do.
other way to do it.
Exactly.
I don't know how you couldn't. That's like
Exactly.
when you get Marvel or DC and it's like, the Black Panther
First
oversized
issues, yeah.
first
So
double
let's talk
size.
about let's talk about your time with comics. Let's go back to that a bit. When it
Yeah.
comes to when with comics, like who's you in your favorite hero?
Ooh. So I'd say this is so tough. Like favorite hero, I've
Okay,
gotta go with
Marvel hero.
yep. So I've gotta go with my boy Spider-Man.
Ah, nice. For me, it's Superman.
Very nice. Oh
Yep.
yeah,
I mean,
that's the new fan art contest winner down there at the
oh,
bottom.
what this one here?
Yep, that one.
Oh, that is a good one. That is such a good one. Oh, let's
Yep.
go. Let's go check that one out.
And they're a very
Nice.
talented artist out of Mexico. Very cool.
That is very nice. Yeah, you weren't kidding. Belladonna definitely looks creepy.
Oh yeah. Very
Definitely looks
creepy.
creepy. Yep, and like you said, you have this now. You do have the obviously the backup plan if you need to condense it. So I'm just curious, like what would come about with that? Like, would you just be trimming plot points and all that, or I'm just
So
curious.
what I was saying as far as like because we have 12 plans script
Right.
wise. As far as when I was saying about condensing, I just kind of meant as far as like adding issues
Oh,
together.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so
I
we're not
gotcha.
cutting anything out. It's just
Gotcha.
if
I
this
didn't know what
does
you meant
really
by that.
well, then we just add issue, for example, 2 and 3 together. Boom.
Gotcha.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha now. I gotcha. I didn't know what you meant by that
No
because
worries. Yeah.
yeah,
No
yeah. So I just
coding.
wanted to clarify.
And you might notice the title is part of the title Paradise Lost.
Oh, yeah, I
That
did notice.
is, if you notice that, that is a kind of a little hint as to what else will be going on. Because
Oh
if you've read
no.
Paradise Lost by John Milton, uh,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to have, like I was saying, we have that magical tool, the Pool of Worlds, on
Mm-hmm.
Queen Belladonna's planet. And you will see some other peeps, other familiar biblical faces
Oh no.
coming
Oh.
through coming through those pools, and it's gonna
Oh.
get nasty. We do have a Lucifer himself appearing as well.
Lucifer working with her and Morgan Le Fay. That would be a terrifying
Yeah,
team up. That would be a terrifying
exactly.
Legion of
And
Doom.
you'll have some archangels too. So like Michael is gonna show up. You have a couple
Mhm.
others. So
So
back it. Want to see
now, as far as
some
the Arthurian
Arthurian
stuff though,
characters.
now as far as the Arthurian stuff though,
Mhm.
where does the Arthurian side take place during the event? Like is Camelot fallen already or is it not fallen yet?
So what has happened is that when basically Sir Alexander got pushed forward in time,
Yeah,
which is the page after this one that we couldn't
right.
include because there's spoilers on it. But when
Understand.
that happens, basically, Camelot is about to fall.
Mm-hmm.
So Merlin makes a split decision
Yeah.
to save Camelot. He basically freezes time,
Oh.
puts King Arthur into a deep magical sleep. And then he also kind of goes into hibernation with the Lady of the Lake. And they're the only ones that are actually able to kind of notice that time is passing and
Mm-hmm.
do some things during that time. Because
Nice.
if he didn't stop time, basically Morgan Le Fay and all the usual suspects would have
Right.
just stormed
Taking
in,
over.
and there's a ailing King Arthur. Like that would have just been like an instant loss.
So in other words, it's a case of like Schrodinger's cat almost. They're in a they're stuck in a moment of technical defeat until Alexander eventually fix everything, goes back in
Yep.
time, and is able to get things going properly. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that.
for
Oh,
like for Sir
yeah,
Alexander, he got pushed forward in time.
right.
So the events then that are happening in Camelot will just pick up like it was yesterday, but it's many years
It's
for
kind of like,
everybody else.
here's a better analogy. It's like Jumanji. Remember in
Yeah.
Jumanji how you
Yep.
had Alan had, basically he had a whole entire timeline that happened because Alan went missing. But at the very
Yeah.
end, he goes back in time, and the time is completely altered after that.
Yep.
So is it like that? Is that fair comparison? It's like that where
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of like that, yeah.
yeah. So
For sure.
obviously it's not a case where Camelot is in the stasis, but the rest of the world moved forward as if it stopped existing.
Well, there's the element.
All
There's
right.
an element of that.
Okay.
There's
I'm sorry.
also
You can tell
because
I'm a nerd. You can tell I'm a super nerd coming up
you're
with this
good.
stuff.
Because also what we're doing is this. So Sir Alexander, when he's a human here on this page,
Mm-hmm.
his
Yeah.
former friend, the gentleman with the red hair there,
Mm-hmm.
he's known as King Mikkel, and he's kind of
Oh.
like Danish royalty, and he has one of the most powerful sources and magic sets in our universe that we've created. He has the power of permanent magic,
Oh.
which is just kind of like how our behind the scenes term for it. But that
Mm-hmm.
is magic that can't be undone. So
So
Sir
when he did
Alexander
this,
getting turned into a teddy bear is permanent. And
oh
you'll see
no.
some captions that the amazing Eric Weathers will put on this page. But we basically, he's not coming back from this. Like he's stuck as a bear forever, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. But
Yeah.
King Mikkel also has another power of basically like mind wiping and kind of so some
Oh.
people so you hear about the Knights of the Round Table and you
Mm-hmm.
might be like, well, where's Sir Alexander in all of this? He totally rewrote him
Oh
out of
no.
the lore, and he has that capability of doing that. So you're going to see where this character has
Mm-hmm.
kind of rewritten Arthurian lore. So people think that it's just fictional, but it actually happened.
Oh, nice. Now here's one
Yeah.
question about Alexander. Is he looks like a teddy bear? Is he made of stuff and fluff, or is he actual?
This is a good question. People have been asking me that recently. And Sir Alexander does have a skeletal system.
Oh.
So if he actually gets cut up, he is like still not human. So he kind of has the Deadpool effect where he'll just kind of
Regenerate.
just sort of healing properties to that. Yeah, but if you fully like doused him in fire, threw some gasoline on there, he's dead for sure. But Sir Alexander will keep living on as
Mm-hmm.
long as the whole of the body is, for the most part, intact or able to be put back together.
So it's not like Deadpool though, where he can come back from a hand,
So
right?
not like that. He
No.
has to have a majority of the body there.
Gotcha.
So if you
if he
cut
was
him in
like,
half,
yeah.
he'll be fine. You cut his head off, his midsection, the feet, it'll be fine. Like if just the finger is missing, he can
Yeah.
grow that back. But if it's like most of the body's missing, then no.
So if
So
like
he's
if it's
just gone.
yeah, so if it's like now, what if you chopped his head off and his head is gone? Would he gain a new head, or does his
Then
head
yeah.
be nearby?
Yeah.
All right. So basically,
Yep,
it's
you have
more
to
of a matter.
fully
Yeah,
douse. You gotta fully yeah.
I gotcha.
But
I.
some people have asked that though, because if you look in this panel,
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to keep it where Sir Alexander has the sort of physique of a teddy bear, but there are like human aspects to it. So if you
Yep.
look at his eyes, those are the
Yep.
same blue eyes that he
Yep.
had when he was a man.
And his
So
paws look like fingers.
Yeah, they're actual fingers. So it's like a very like very twisted version of a teddy bear where it looks like it has human eyes, but they're
Mhm.
more like animated because
Right.
they're still human, but they're like big, like anime
Yep.
googly eyes.
I guess
So
they also.
that's
One of the parallel I just
off-putting.
realized was Alexandra because of the cloak. Gives me a bit of a Willow vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause it's just the way it is look. You know, this short little guy with this scarf on and everything. It's like I can't help but
that's
think a little
great.
bit of Willow. Yeah. Oh man, just seeing all these lizard, dragons and all that. Just again, I cannot wait for this. To get my hand on this. Oh, and okay, on this cover, who's who on all that? I can tell that's
So,
Jack.
yep.
Is that
And that
Belladonna?
is Belladonna. Yep.
I
And
didn't
then
know she was
Sorella.
red skinned.
So a couple people have asked this, and in this issue, we kind of we had it planned that you just kind of jump into the first issue, right? And
Yep.
then issue two, we start kind of explaining how things work a little bit. And Queen Belladonna, again, we said it's like a living planet, Zarthus.
Right.
And it feeds off of their power. Well, if you go back up to that fight that we saw right
Right
there,
here. Yep.
Queen Belladonna is kind of explaining what happened in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and she's retelling it, and that's why it's not in color. But
Ah.
the basics of this is that her people, which are six-armed spellcasters, they basically get demolished by
Oh.
the dragons because there's this initial fight that happens here,
Mm-hmm.
and Jack's father Eric is the one at the bottom with like his wings outstretched, and
Right.
then that's Queen Belladonna.
Yep.
Well, once Jack's father leaves Zarthus and he goes to Earth to be with the new chick that he's gotten
Yep.
with, that starts another full scale war,
Oh
just like
no.
this, but worse. And because they blame Queen Belladonna, because they assume that it's something wrong with her or she did something to drive him
She
off. Like they're
reneged on it.
making,
Yes.
yeah. And so then that causes another war worse than this one. That during that war, all of the dragons wipe out her people. And
So in other words, it's
her
Jack's father's fault. In other words,
is
she's
yeah, and
completely
so
in the
what
right.
happens is that there's basically like a bloody, nasty battlefield with all of her six-armed peeps, and
Yep.
a lot of them are in various stages. So some are like about to die or they're about to be on their last breath. So
Mm-hmm.
what she does is in order to keep her people alive and not be the sole survivor, she basically, anybody that's still alive on the battlefield at that time, she basically sort of pulls their souls out and
Oh.
consumes them. So all of her people that were still alive for a second on the
Yeah.
battlefield are all inside of her. So
Nice.
so if you once you hear that in this issue, you're going to look back and you'll notice in the first issue
Mm-hmm.
that we set up scenes where her face looks a little bit different sometimes.
I noticed that.
And yes, and that's because there's different people inside of her.
That come
So
to the
her
forefront.
facial, yeah, so her facial expressions will start to get somebody else's face mixed up in that.
Nice. Now, who are these
Yeah.
two?
So the one down there beside,
Yep.
yep, so that is Eric in that version. So
Uh-huh.
that's Jack's dad. And
Ah,
then
and
on the other side, that's Jeffrey, the one with the living book,
right,
Edmund,
right.
and then Poppins, which is just his wife's severed head.
Right, right.
Yep.
Just wanted to check on all that because again, it's and George's artwork is very different, so I just wanted to make sure
Yep.
who was who. But
You're good.
yep. So now, obviously, we need to at least get to where the book is. But yeah, I was gonna say not that bad for other stretch goals. 10K for that, 20K, and all that. And yeah, I mean, I'd love to get you guys up to there, but let's try and get the book back first.
Yep, baby steps.
Baby steps, definitely. Let's check. Oh, nothing yet, but yeah. So any like, and so yeah, I'm just trying to think of what else to ask. What kind of stuff besides the issues you had with the fulfillment and the printers? What else did you learn between the last campaign and this one?
Ooh, so this is kind of like more of a personal
Oh.
lesson.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there were pages that were covers that were originally done, and some different file prep that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I always have contracts for everything.
Right.
I'm pretty, in the know with that as far as protecting your IP and stuff like that. Just
Right.
from being in the film industry, you learn pretty quick to protect yourself from stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I had somebody who was um, in CG, but I've had a
Ooh.
couple CG artists that actually didn't turn in work that
Oh.
they're contractually obligated to, not one, but two. And I was
Oh.
able to get money back from one from
But not
fighting
the other.
behind the scenes, but the other one I didn't, and I just let
Oh.
go because of kind of the types of projects that they're on are more
Mm-hmm.
high profile. So the risk to
Understandable, but
reward wasn't like worth
yeah,
it.
that's
So
that's
just
rough.
kind of, and I'm pretty good as far as kind of, seeing people's character and stuff and trying to safeguard from that. But
Yep.
sometimes you just encounter situations like that. So what
Mm-hmm.
I kind of learned from that was just kind of to, not just ask one person that's worked with them on a
Mm-hmm.
project, but maybe get like, three or four people that
Right.
have worked on projects for them to kind of then pull from that.
I understand.
Because I would like ask one or two people and it's like, oh, everything's good. But then you ask five more people and you get a different consensus. So I guess it's just kind of going to more people when it's a new artist
Mm-hmm.
and talking with former people that they've
Right. I
worked
get
with respectfully, and saying, hey, how was it working with them on, for your project?
understandable. Completely understandable. So yeah. I think I've run out of questions to ask about on this so far, but anything else you want to bring up?
I think we've covered a lot more here than usually gets covered. But I
Well,
was
glad.
gonna
Good.
say, again, peeps in the chat, if you like what you see, spread it out on
Yeah.
Twitter, tag people, share it with your friends and family. You might not be able to back it and make it happen. That's totally
Okay.
cool,
There we go. I
but you
just spread
can
it the word.
share it. Yeah, sharing is free. So I appreciate
Free.
it. And I enjoy coming on shows like this and chatting about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's super awesome. So if there's more shows, you can tag them or respectfully tagging people and asking them or just kind of mentioning it on other shows. Stuff like that is super helpful as I'm starting to build up my own YouTube channel, which you can check
Mm-hmm.
out. And if you like some of the stuff you've heard here, go check out the Goodnight documentary on my YouTube channel, which is my name. It's just Crystal McGee. And you can see it there in the realm of dreams, the making of the good night. And
Mm-hmm.
we go through some other, this might be an interesting tidbit. So when I started in earnest putting this project together in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an artist and the
Keep going,
book.
keep going. I just gotta go
Yeah,
take care of my
you're
smoke
good.
alarm.
You're good. And as I was saying, the book was almost finished, like completely finished. But I had a weird feeling about some of the character design for Sir Alexander. And I did a little bit of digging, and it wasn't too hard to find. But it appeared that my artist, allegedly had
I'm back.
essentially, no worries, had essentially swiped the art for Sir Alexander from another artist online. And when I confronted this original artist that we had in 2018, and this is not Francisco, this is a totally different person. This is the first person that I went to. Francisco is the second. And I'm so happy because Francisco made the project oodles better. But this guy, he'd already been paid and everything, but he wanted additional money to go back and redo the stolen Sir Alexander character
Oh,
design. And I
no,
was like, you should
that's
have done
Sheridan.
that. Oh, awesome. But I was like, you should, why should I have to pay when you stole art from somebody else? And
Ooh.
I looked at all the other character design. It hadn't appeared that he'd swiped any other character designs. It was just Sir Alexander's. He fully ripped that off from
Oh.
somebody else that appeared. So that I basically paid for all of that up front. That was
Mm-hmm.
all right in the pan. Uh,
Yeah.
and
Oh.
you'll see in the documentary some of those pages that we had in 2018. And
Mm-hmm.
then after that, I found Francisco. Everything was smooth sailings. He's amazing to work with. He's incredibly talented. So I'm very happy how things turned out. Sometimes stuff happens for a reason.
Right.
You just have to keep, you know, going at it. My parents are amazing and they always told us, to get back up after something happens. So that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
how it worked. And you have the book that, some of you guys have now in front of you.
Yep. Just show up mine again.
Awesome.
Yep. So yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, Crystal, and I hope for the best for this campaign. I'm gonna,
Thank
like
you.
I said, I'll be getting paid in a few days. So once that happens, I'll be definitely backing this book.
No worries. Thank you. I appreciate all of the support, guys. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing.
So thank you so much, everyone. Go out and back this. Yeah, you have awesome parents. Yeah, Raven makes a good point there. You
They're
have
pretty
awesome.
cool.
Yep.
Thanks.
But yeah, like I said, so everyone go out and back it, spread the word, tweet about it, share it around, bring Crystal on your show, do anything to help her out. And because
Thank
I want to see this, I want to get my own copy of this. I want to see this made. So,
Thank you.
yep. So go ahead, guys. Go and do whatever you can. And I'll see you all on the next one. Take
All
care.
right. Later.